Good morning, Liberty County, Hinesville, and all the cities that lie therein. We're back again for our weekly COVID update. Thank you for your attention to our presentations. Many of you have followed us from day one. We really appreciate that. And we do ask that you serve as ambassadors to your family, to your jobs, to your local communities, that we might help to get the word out on what we're trying to do to contain this virus. We discuss among ourselves that none of us thought this would be around to this date, but it's here. In fact, the news I have today to tell you is that we're spiking. In fact, Dr. Lawton Davis said this morning in Liberty County, it's a hot spot. And that certainly wasn't the good news. It wasn't the news I wanted to hear, but it is what it is, so we have to work with it. So I want to encourage you to continue the 3 W's, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your face coverings. We know there's been a lot of news coverage about the face coverings, and I ask you to look beyond the politics of that, look to the practicality of that. Let's just be safe to ourselves and to others without someone telling us to do so. Let's just do that. A very recent story of a friend who mentioned that they had a small birthday gathering for her uncle, and people came from out of town to visit. And after the visit was over, several family members became positive. So something as innocent as a birthday party can be problematic. So let's try to remember all those things. I know we're going to get back to the old normal, but this is a new normal we have to deal with now. So let's just, somebody in the family, somebody in the community, somebody in your household take responsibility to be the police. You have to be the police, that we all might be safe. So those are my opening remarks to you. Once again, I want to thank these Liberty County partners, Team Liberty as I call them, for being so gracious. I want to applaud the cities too of Hinesville, Midway, Flemington, and Walthamville for having the courage to go ahead and put in the order for mandatory masking, even though the governor has come back and said we can't enforce that. I just want to thank them for their courage and their care. It's not about trying to be punitive, it's trying to care for the people who they serve. So you ought to be a preacher of that people would go out on the limb for you and do that. And without it being mandatory by law, we just ask you, as a county, my county commissioner said, we strongly encourage you to do the face covering. Dr. Davis said this morning there's several literature, several data that's out that proves that masking does matter. So let's mask Liberty County, especially when it comes to when we're out in the public, out in our public businesses, all those places that are now in the open air. Let's do that, and that's what we can do personally as a committee of one to help to contain this virus, so that we will perhaps be able to get back to what we know as normal life. So at this time, I'm going to yield to the verifying mayor of the city of Hinesville, Mayor Allen Brown.
Thank you, Donald. Hey, and I enjoy being on Team Hinesville. I'm glad you gave us a name along the way, and enjoy being a part of the team, even with my cousin Joey. Mr. Howard, by the way, probably won't speak to us this morning. He's not feeling well. I don't think it's COVID, but he's not feeling well, so he's taking the day off. Good morning to Hinesville and Liberty County. With the increase in cases reported over the last 2 weeks, we're coming back to you now on a weekly basis instead of every other week like we did just for a short period, and try to keep you updated on what's happening in the county and in the city. As most of you are aware, and I think Donald mentioned it, Governor Kemp issued a new executive order last Wednesday evening regarding protective measures and masks across the state. And so at this time, the city of Hinesville has opted to follow the governor's order to the letter regarding masks mandates within the city of Hinesville, but I'll speak more on that before I hang up. Regardless of a mandate or not, we will ask you to wear your mask when you are in public, such as in grocery stores or in group settings. And it appears to me, even though we did have to back off just a little bit, it appears to me that it has already worked in the public. I've noticed when I'm out in the public, especially in grocery stores and places like that, that a very, very high percentage of people, in fact, I counted one person about a week or so ago in Kroger, in the whole store, that wasn't wearing a mask, so that's pretty darn good in our community. Do you mind putting up my little thing? I asked for a chart to be put up because I was sitting here looking at it. I think it was for Mr. Joey Brown to use, but as of this morning, Liberty County has 437 total cases since the beginning of COVID. And that includes 39 confirmed overnight. So we're still climbing too fast, and if you can see the chart, and I trust you can, if you'll see from the beginning, way back to the left, you'll see a very, very small slope, very little slope, all the way across until about 3 weeks ago. And I was very confident that our community was doing well, but you can see that dramatic, a bunch of spikes there in about the last 3 weeks. And I think we've tripled in total cases during that time. So we just need to be aware of that. Testing will shed light on cases, so obviously they will go up. But I encourage citizens to comply with the governor's request of wearing masks. I guess he requested that. Somebody told me that. So that we may begin to see a plateau and hopefully a drop in positive case counts in the coming weeks. I know it's been a long year in Hinesville and Liberty County so far, but hang in there. You can read all of the cities and governor's emergency orders on our website. And until next week, remember the 3 W's. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Thank you.
Hey, good morning. It's my pleasure to be able to come to you this morning for another administrative update from the county side. From the coastal health report, we did get that update as we get this morning. The mayor and chairman have already mentioned that. We've taken a look at the cumulative rolling average chart. I'll ask my guys to please pop up the cumulative chart that shows, actually, okay, I'll do that. That shows an increase in the cases. The mayor did allude to this. Liberty now has 437 cases and 2 deaths. This is up from 301 when we spoke to you last time. So there's been a dramatic increase in the case count, and I know there's a lot of debate on whether that is due to the increased testing. But the fact is, I like to watch the increase in the numbers more than I like to watch the total numbers, because some have obviously dropped off. These charts and others are available, continue to be available at the Coastal District Health site at covid19.gachd.org, and you'll find some information on there too, just as a reminder about their testing locations and times. Diversity Health Center, as you know, also offers the testing. Both of these agencies are doing phenomenal work in being able to offer the test and get the results back as we need them. Their website at Diversity is diversityhc.org, and their phone number is 877-2227. So kudos and hats off to them for that. Our general offices, the effect here on last week, on July 16th, the Board of Commissioners authorized the chairman through his emergency powers to enact a mandatory masking and temperature check policy for all county-owned facilities in order to protect the public and the critical workforce employees. I need to be clear and make sure everyone understands it's not to be confused with a county-wide masking mandate, and it only applies to county indoor facilities. Anyone entering the buildings, including employees, will have their temperature checked by touchless thermometers and will be offered a mask if they don't have one. The commission did also ask staff to develop a public education campaign associated with COVID-19 and suggested safety precautions. We expect to have that completed by this week and ready for the board to review. Internally, like most agencies, we have had and continue to experience some positive COVID-19 cases involving members of our workforce. These cases have become more numerous in the last few weeks, and we have and will continue to follow Department of Health and CDC protocols for handling these cases in the critical workforce environment, up to and including temporary closure of offices. Due to the manner in which the test results are received, which are not real expedited because of the number of tests that are being performed out there, they come out pretty quickly for the results when they do come. Proactive measures may sometimes have to happen with very little notice. Please understand that we'll continue to do all we can do to minimize interruptions during this time and still offer the services to you while making sure both you and the employees remain safe. In the court facility area, there is no change from last week. That judicial state of emergency is still in effect, as you remember, until August 11th. at 11:59 p.m. So there continue to be no jury trials or impaneling of juries. There are some other court functions that are mandated to continue, and those facilities also are practicing very strong protocols for both clients and visitors. In the recreation area, on July 16th, the board, after consulting with the district health director and reviewing CDC youth sports guidance, made a final determination to postpone all fall organized sports events offered by the Liberty County Recreation Department. And I really want to say by the Recreation Department, make sure everybody understands that. We're not talking about high school football. We're not talking about anything affecting the school system. Those are governed by GHSA guidelines. They are not under the purview of the Liberty County Commission. That would be under your Board of Education. I encourage you to go to their website to check for information on their sports events. The board will consider, though, as far as the fall sports that it does have some effect over, to look at transmission rates in the area, consult with professionals to see if there could be an abbreviated season later on for those things. As far as commission meetings go, once again, and we've done this every week, but I want to reemphasize that the board is still practicing social distancing and especially accessibility protocols. And this means that the meetings are only open at this point to those folks who have actual items on the agenda that need to present to the board, and there are some guidelines for those. They are posted on our website. They're posted at the meeting location. But we are still practicing Facebook Live. This does enable the public to see everything that's going on during those sessions, just as if you were here, except in the safety of your home or your office. We appreciate greatly the public's understanding during this most difficult time, and rest assured the board, just like everybody else, looks forward to returning to a normal operating type procedure where the public can come in and enjoy the meetings in public if they so desire. In closing, I just want to again thank the public. Thank our departments and our local government partners for working with us through this process. It's a great group to work with. I also, just like the others, want to encourage you to keep practicing sanitization, distancing, and masking in order to protect others. Thank you very much, and may God bless.
Questions? Once again, thank you for listening and being attentive. We should ask that you share the information with all those who you should come in contact with. We appreciate, once again, the collaborative partners, Team Liberty, as I call them, for their diligence to this pandemic. And we're in it together, and we'll get through it together. But we just can't let up until such time as the science speaks for itself. And please, even though most of us here are involved in the political arena, let's not make this a political decision, but one that's just based on the science and the safety of those who we love and care for on a daily basis. Thank you again. See you same time next week. Be safe.